It Takes Two is a cooperative artistic masterpiece. There, I said it. Not trying to play no games. It's in the title. I said it now. If that's all you're looking for, move on. But if you actually want to hear the nitty gritty details and my opinions about it and why I think it's a masterpiece, stick around. Let's get into it. A quick synopsis of the game goes something like players are playing two parents of a kid who are about to divorce. The kid is upset and essentially turns you into these clay dolls. And with that, you traverse the world as a miniature doll and try to make your way back. So let's start with the first pro. The first pro would be the way that they integrate cooperation. It Takes Two was made by the same creators as A Way Out. So for anybody who's ever played that game, they know that they don't try to just make co-op an optional thing. It's actually something you need to play through the game, and they integrate it in such a way that it feels like the gameplay, pretty much every single aspect is made with the intention of having cooperative gameplay. The second pro would be the gameplay. So starting with just how creative they are with the gameplay, it felt like Portal on steroids. The puzzles were difficult but not too difficult. The way that they have so many different weapons and tools that you can use, and the way that you can use each of them keeps things fresh. They are so creative with the weapons that they choose. They take a lot of inspirations from a bunch of different genres and kind of smoothly integrate it into this game, and they pretty much separate it into stages of the gameplay. So it's like stages within stages of the gameplay, stageception or something, and it keeps things really fresh, like I said before. At first I was worried that it might become a jack of all trades, but when I got to points where they tried to integrate gameplay from so many different genres, a lot of times it brought a smile to my face. It just felt like, didn't seem like they were trying to be the best at that genre, but they did it in a way so that the user can just have fun playing the game. Another pro would be the world building. The world is absolutely beautiful. The way that you traverse the world, the artistic work that goes into this world is incredible. And you're going to hear me say this a lot, but it is just downright creative. Everything that they do with this game speaks to a creative mind, and their attention to detail is incredible too. They don't have to do a lot of things, but they do it anyways. It honestly made me feel like a kid opening a present box and just seeing so many different things happening. I got to just explore the world, and everything that I explored pretty much had some kind of prize there waiting. And even right down to the boss fights. The boss fights are creative, and they're honestly just fun to play. It honestly just had me thinking, wow. I feel like the way that they made the difficulty is pretty much perfect. It's not too difficult to the point that new players or people who aren't gamers wouldn't be able to play with someone who's more experienced. And they made it so that there's so many different variants of difficulties in the puzzles that eventually it makes it so that you learn what games are pretty much looking for, just that kind of gamer instinct. And I don't want to spoil anything, but there's just a lot of funny little hidden gems. And that's not to say that there isn't fun moments where there's some competition going on between the two players, just to, stick it to the person who's being carried. The mini games that they just kind of disperse into there for that fun competitive vibe, they actually do put quite an amount of effort into it, and it's kind of neat that it's just there as a quick breather. And I feel like the way that they did the storytelling, the way that they kind of force you to do things sometimes, it's really good for the way that they storytell, just because if they want to make you feel like a villain, they can make you feel like a villain. They'll make you feel bad. So with that, that ends my rants of how creative they are. So on with the cons. The cons, I've only really had two problems with it. The first problem is there are some stages that I felt did drag on too long. They were a little bit repetitive. I wished that they kept it shorter and made it less of a linear progression, and found ways to traverse that world in a more creative way that they had with all the other stages. The second con would be that the storyline is a bit cheesy. It is what it is, but I do think that some of it is a little unrealistic and some of it is a little deaf to the fact that sometimes a divorce is just better. And I do think that the kid is a little bit weirdly mature for, you know, her age. So those are the only cons. If you can get past that, I do think the gameplay is a masterpiece. So I don't think the two cons are enough for me to say that I wouldn't recommend this game. So with all that, do I recommend this game? I think you guys can guess it. I completely recommend this game to any two players. This is like the perfect game to play with your significant other who either has a lot of gaming experience or doesn't have a lot of gaming experience. And in fact, I would pretty much just recommend this to any two people who like want to play a game together. Yeah, it's not one of those games where you can't carry someone per se, but it definitely still requires significant contribution from the other player. Plus, because you're forced to play one character and your partner's forced to play the other character, there's actually so much replayability to this game too, because of the fact that if you swap roles, the game would seem pretty new to you. I would pretty much put this in my top 10 games that I've ever played. Yeah, I hope you guys all have a good day. Peace.